Welcome to Las Vegas, the gambling mecca of the world. Are you juggling with your health problems and gambling with your life? You lose. Stay tuned to see how you win.
Awareness, health, and environmental alternatives. Starring internationally acclaimed investigative reporter, compelled to help change people's lives. Two-time winner Crystal Awards. The man who tells it like it is. Basil.
It has often been said that the diseases of this world can be cured with the substances of this world if we were given the freedom of choice to do so and to advocate it. Today I'm going to read to you a number of things from a number of books so that you know it's not what I say, it's what people are saying universally. The health industry in 1992 was this minuscule. The government tried desperately to suppress this, and I'm going to read this information for you. Last year, 1999, the year that Awareness, this TV show, won 2 awards, the Crystal Award of Excellence and the Crystal Award of Distinction. Because, folks, we bring to you the truths and the myths about health and diseases. We realize that diseases are not genetically handed down in the genes. It is the habits and the lifestyles that are handed down. In John Barron's book, Lessons from the Miracle Doctors, I'd like to read you something from that. What we pay for health care. Never in the history of the world has any other country come close to having as many doctors as we have in the United States. 700,000 doctors. And never in the entire history of the world or any other country come close to spending the amount of money we do. A conservative $1 trillion a year. That means that we spend on health care is more than the entire gross national product of all but 6 countries in the world. What value have we received? We lead the world in deaths from heart disease, prostate cancer, breast cancer, in fact all kinds of cancers, diabetes. The American Cancer Society now says that 1 in 2 people by the year 2000, individuals, will develop cancer and will die from it. However, we're not allowed to propagate this. Silent clots by Dr. Prevera, who has been jailed and all kinds of things. Today, called a quack for curing and changing people's lives. Today, a quack routinely calls a real doctor a quack. Indeed, today's quacks have developed quackery into a fine art, complete with front groups that defend it, and that use government to give them monopoly control of American medicine. It goes on further to say Dr. Prevera has been tormented, penalized, and even jailed because he chose to exert his conscience and freedom of choice in providing healthcare services to his patients. We'll go to the next book, and this one is called Innocent Casualties, the FDA's War Against Humanity by Elaine Fura, wherein she says the FDA and much, but not all, of the orthodox medical profession are actively hostile against the manufacture, sale, and distribution of vitamins and minerals as food or food supplements. They are out to get the health food industry and to drive the health food stores out of business. And they are trying to do this out of active hostility and prejudice. In 1971, in the fall of 1971, the FDA also made a serious attempt to halt the growth of the increasingly popular alternative medicine. It goes on, the federal government's war against quackery. This is called quackery. If I were to give you a substance that turned your disease around and it were not chemically based and prescribed by your doctor, that's quackery, regardless of whether the fact that it healed you. We'll go on to Death by Diet by Robert Barefoot, and he says This book will show that the recommended daily allowances encourage disease. They are ridiculously low and encourage these diseases, and are in contradiction of many exhaustive and massive studies. The book will show that the medical regulatory system, which has a dismal track record and thrives on the economics of disease, is allowed to systematically persecute with cries of quackery and charlatan those who seek to research and promote preventative medicine. We'll go to the next book, and this one is One Answer to Cancer by Dr. William Donnelly Kelly. Finally, Dr. Kennelly was aggressively persecuted and oppressed during his years of treating cancer patients. His success was unparalleled in conventional medicine. And it goes on, of course, they want to jail him as well. We'll go on to a newspaper report in Las Vegas. Alternative medicine enters mainstream. Amongst this, it says, as strange as that may once have sounded, mainstream medical schools like Johns Hopkins Standard and Harvard are increasingly teaching courses in alternative medicine. So we're starting to win the battle to a small degree. Here is a book called Cancer. It says, Cancer Can Be Reversed. This book tells how using clinically proven complementary and alternative therapies, we can reverse cancer. I'm not saying it, it's right there in the book. And I have too many to read them all. Silent clots. We've done that one. Alternative medicine. There are so many therapies in this book that tell us how we can reverse our diseases. Now let me, folks, tell you, how do we get these diseases? If we're eating hamburgers, cheeseburgers, bacon, eggs, hash browns, pancakes and syrup, this is not breakfast. Breakfast would be more an organically grown whole wheat grains that have been unprocessed, no hydrogenation, no refining, and no sugars. And that's one way of going. With honey, not sugar. Sugar is a cause of yeast. Sugar is a feeder of cancer. White bread, what is that? Gluten. We used to put the wallpaper up on the walls in the last war with flour because it's glue. So it glues these foods in your stomach. When you have cheese and when you have meat at the same time, your all-famous cheeseburger, do you know what happens to the metabolic system? You have no idea. These foods become impacted in the colon. And the colon, which is 2.5 inches to 3.5 inches, and the feces should be equal, yet the feces is this size, and your son, who's 10 years old, his feces is that size. Does that tell you something? Your colons, in fact, all the way up to the stomach, the jejunum, the duodenum, is clogged up with foods. And these toxins, and I'm going to show you a picture of these toxins, are now going to the liver. These foods are impacted. You get layer 1, layer 2, layer 3. Do you know that when John Wayne died, they found 44 pounds of food blocked in his alimentary system that had been there for 10 years and more? If you have a stomach, you better watch out. You have got food blocked in there. And a regular colonic or a regular enema is not going to pull this impacted, embedded stuff out of the colon. It is hard like leather. I have seen it, and I'm going to show you something. In this book here, we see a colon, a healthy colon, and an unhealthy colon. We can also have a look further on in the book, and we can see inside the colon all the food. Now, if we go to this picture here, folks, right in there, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 layers. Just look at all the layers of food in the colon. The first layer took a few months, a few years. Then the second layer, then the third layer. Now you're 15 years old and you're short and fat. Now you're 28 years old and you're even fatter. You have another layer and another layer and another layer. Now you're going to have a colonic. All right, and you'll see some very weird things coming out. But you've only pulled out the one layer that is still pretty loose. The next layer is so hard. There's a picture of it. Look at that. It doesn't break. I was doing that with it with gloves on. It doesn't break. It is hard. It's pitch black. Now, what happens when you have all these layers of food in the colon? You have pathogenic microorganisms in there, and they hide behind these walls. So when you do your colonic, you're not even touching them. You have parasites, worms. I've seen 30-foot, and some doctors have even pulled out 60-foot worms in people my size. So it doesn't matter who you are. If you've been eating cheeseburgers, been eating processed foods, and you go into your supermarkets, take a look at these foods in the supermarket. You see what you're seeing there? Just look at all these foods. These are processed and packaged foods with preservatives in them, with all kinds of things in it that does not promote health. The cheeses and the bolognas, and just look at them. Now take a look at the vegetables. Look at the vegetables. You see the water spraying down on the vegetable, folks. These waters that are sprayed on your lettuce to make it look nice and fresh are in fact killing all the enzymes. All the nutrient value of the food is gone, because what is chlorine designed to do? And I've been in the supermarket and grabbed a glass of that water and tested it. 8.0 parts per million of chlorine, 7.0. A swimming pool is only 2.2 by law maximum. This chlorine kills all the enzymes in your fruit. Now you think you've got a real good fresh bunch of lettuce or spinach. You've damaged it. Plus it's been in the market a few days. Plus it's been in the truck a few days. So you have to take supplements to be able to get the chlorophyll and enzymes. Without chlorophyll and enzymes and minerals in your body, you have no peristalsis. And that means the pommelation of food, the enzymatic action. If you don't have that, you don't have proper elimination, and you're wondering why you don't eliminate properly. Take minerals, take vitamins, carbohydrates, proteins, essential fatty acids. Nobody in America seems to know what essential fatty acids is. Eat more fish is one of your high sources of essential fatty acids, omega-3s and omega-6s. You're losing hair, you're losing eyesight, you think this is part of aging. Well, look at me. I'm 60 years old. And I can stand on my hands for an hour and lift my body up in the air and do somersaults and backward flips, and I'm 60. Why? Why am I hard like a rock? Why? Everything hard. Because I eat right. I don't eat the junks that you eat. So your diseases are earned, folks. You earned your diseases. They were not handed down to you by your parents. And if you don't make changes, you're all going to go down the tubes. 1 in 2 people in America have cancer. If it ain't me, and I know it's not me, it's you who's listening. And I don't sell no products. I am not a promoter of any product. And therefore you can believe me, because I have no ulterior motive other than to change your lives. I've been trying to do this for years and get across to the nation the things that are causing our diseases and how easy we can reverse them. Aspartame. Now, what is aspartame? Sweet and low, equal, NutraSweet, diet soda. The misconception, you guys. Oh, I drink diet soda. Well, I'm afraid that diet soda is not the answer. A regular soda would be better than a diet soda. The aspartame is the #1 reported thing to the FDA for adverse effects on human health. Do you see that on ABC, NBC, or CBS? I don't think so. Why? Because they promote NutraSweet. They promote Equal and all these other things and diet sodas. They couldn't possibly put them down. But here is the cause of your problems. Eliminate them. There is only one thing to drink, and that is water. And I put minerals, coral calcium in my water, which tells me it's time for water. I don't know if you realize it, folks, but every word you say takes water. When you're sleeping at night, every breath that you breathe, water going out. Take your sunglasses and breathe on it, and there you see wetness. That's water. And if you don't fill up with water every 15 minutes, every half an hour. Now, don't tell me I drank a soda or a cup of coffee or a cup of tea. This is not water. Water cannot be tampered with, added to. The body distinguishes water one way. When we eat food, we follow it down. the esophagus opens, the food goes down into the stomach. When we drink water, water goes down into the stomach, but is immediately pushed out of the stomach to the intracellular and extracellular system. Only when the esophagus opens for food is water pulled back in. If you drank water, if you didn't drink water, we have a shortage of water. Food is metabolized with 1 particle of food to 1 particle of water. So a glass of water before your meals will help you tremendously in metabolizing. And that is where all diseases start, in the alimentary system, not in the genes. I do this show regularly, and I give advice across the country. People call me, and I will gladly give lectures wherever. And this is free to you. Please listen and learn. Hair, loss of hair. I got 22-year-old friends that think it's in the genes, it's in our family. No, again, it's the food you've been eating. Why should you lose hair? And there are ways of regrowing hair. If you get back into vitamins, back into minerals, you can survive. Your motor car requires 9 things to run. None of you will climb in the car today and try and drive all the way to New York, all the way to California, unless you check those 9 things. What are they? Engine oil, transmission oil, differential oil, steering box oil, brake fluid, battery fluid, water, and air. You wouldn't dare go any long distance without that. Well, how long a distance do you want to travel with your body? 30 years? 60 years? 100 years? What does it need? 9 things, just like your car. But who cares about putting the 9 things into our body daily? As long as I got in my car, I get to work, I earn money, I come home, I sleep, I go to work. Is that what you're living for? Then I see the doctor on Friday and I pay him $175 for Prozac, Xanax, Depo-Provera, Premarin. All these things cause cancer. Ask your doctor the next time he gives you Premarin to open up his PDR. It's on his desk, he's got to have one. What's the first lines you're going to read? Known to be a carcinogen causing cancer. But your doctor loves you. He's known you since you were 8 years old. Now you're 28 and he still loves you. Does he love you? After you've read that, causes cancer, side effects, hair falling out, diarrhea. When you could take wild yams and eat that to get your hormonal balances. Women are suffering such things as premenstrual problems, menopausal problems, chronic cramping, unwanted hairs, tender breasts, chronic fatigue syndrome, night sweats, hot sweats, cold sweats. And what do they get? They go to the doctor and what do they get? Premarin, Depo-Provera. These are congenated horse's urine. Estrogen. The problem is estrogen to start off with. The government decided to reduce the population. This is probably going to get me into trouble. And they said, we'll try it on the alligators in the Everglades in Florida. And they pumped tons of xenoestrogens into the water. The penis size of the alligators reduced by 75%. No more procreation. We eliminated a species. We reduced it. So now they put it into our food chain. It's in all your packaged goods. It's in your cabbage, your lettuce, because why? It's in our water. So you can only balance these estrogens, woman, with one thing, and that is progesterone, not more estrogen. We'll be right back. Folks, I'm glad you came back. We did not win these awards for misinformation. You don't get awards for giving. So everything I've said today, believe me, and listen to everything I've said has got full worthiness and efficacy. I want to talk about water. Understanding what kind of water to drink. You say, well, I drink water. What are you drinking? You're drinking bottled water, right? Well, bottled water doesn't cut it. I'm sorry. Sure, it's better than toxic and contaminated water. I don't know if you know it, but water has known 2,100 contaminants and toxins, carcinogens, mutagens, chronic tumor promoters. Yeah, now guess what? These are absorbed into your head. Tumors, Elizabeth Taylor. How do we absorb it? The skin absorbs at 63%. Ingestion is only 27%. So in actual fact, showering in contaminated water is certainly more toxic because of absorption of 63% than if you were to drink 8 glasses of that very same shower water. It would have less ill effect on you. You may have an upset stomach. Bladder cancer caused by water. Now, these contaminants and toxins in the water have to categorically be removed. So we remove them. Reverse osmosis, distillation, and carbon filters, and various other methods, which I happen to specialize in. When you remove the contaminants and the toxins, you also remove the minerals. And I have heard it said by many a factory owner, no, the media we use only absorbs contaminants and toxins, and says, all right, fellas, you can go through your minerals. Number one, these minerals from the rivers and the rocks, these minerals are not absorbable. If you have a look at episode 20, I took these minerals and put them into glasses and did 4 very scientific tests in the laboratory showing these minerals could never be absorbed into the human blood cell. They are too large. They're in colloidal form. They need to be microcomplex, ionic, to go in. How do we do that? How do we get water that is safe to drink today? Well, we can run out to the machines and go buy water on the machines on the street. In fact, most of them are pretty good. If it says reverse osmosis, UV lighting, carbon filter, you're pretty much damn sure you're getting clean water. But it is deleterious on the body. It has no mineral content. It cannot have an osmotic flow over the cellular structure, creating neurotransmissions. And there we have a lot of retardation, lack of concentration. Water has to have minerals, and it has to have many, many minerals. Some doctors have said 96. I've seen one study with 104. But if we study the nucleus of a blood cell and we also study the ocean water, we find they are identical. Ocean water and human blood. Coral in the ocean. The coral, they use it for hip replacements. The water sipes, the vesicles. Everything is identical. And that is why the best way to get it is from the ocean and also from the humification and photosynthesis of plants and in the soil. So many a mineral that says it's from plant source has been metabolized by the plant but is still not absorbable into our body at a full length. Water needs to get mineral back into it. So after removing these contaminants, and you should get yourself a system in your kitchen, and I've tested many of people's kitchen systems, RO systems, and it's still contaminated. Let me tell you, at my lecture at the library this last Saturday, I took a clean glass of water from the faucet in front of the audience. This is the water you all bathe in? Everybody agreed. That's what they bathe in. Looks nice and clean, a nice clean glass of water. Some of you wash your dishes in it. Some of you actually cook with it. Some of you actually drink it. 7 out of 10 Americans apparently are drinking tap water. Well, this is what I did. I took that water and took 2 electrodes, an iron and a stainless steel with zinc, and I put it into the glass, plugged it into the wall with reverse polarities, and what that does is it pulls the dirt that you could not see in the glass of water. Here's a beautiful, clean glass of water. Looks sparkling. It pulled the dirt that you could not see in front of my audience's eyes. It pulled the dirt together. By 3 minutes it takes, I could pick up the water with my finger in big blobs of black gunge. That's in order, but you can't see it. So never, never drink your problems. The body is 75% water, and incidentally, the brain is 85%. And if the brain were to lose 1 point, 1/10 of 1 point, you have a headache. What is a hangover? You drink alcohol. What does alcohol do? Coffee, teas, diet sodas, aspartame, as I mentioned in the first half of the show. These things suppress the water pumps and the water sipes. So water is actually pushed out of the body while we're trying to understand what the substance is we just drank. Once you've got your water and it is purified, you need to put back the minerals in the water. And I've heard people say, oh, well, I take a mineral tablet. Well, yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. I've seen your mineral tablet. Guess where I've seen it? Down at the Los Angeles Sanitation Department, they had 40 barrels of vitamins and minerals that were just stuck in the mesh that they pulled out. It was clogging up the water system. Now you go to your doctor, and you are getting old. I've seen you in the supermarkets with your canes and all these things walking, and your joints are hurting. And your doctor tells you, oh, Mrs. Jones, you have a lot of calcium built up on your joints. We're going to have to take you off calciumated foods. I'm sorry, doctor, just about everything on this bloody earth is calcium. The most abundant mineral in the human body is calcium. It's not the most important, sodium is. And let's remember that sodium, I'm not talking sodium chloride, I'm not talking salt, I'm not talking table salt, I'm talking sea salt. Salt is the governor of water outside of a blood cell, as histamine is the governor of water inside the blood cell. Your doctor says no salt. He says no sunshine. Funny thing, he signed a Hippocratical oath. And the father of medicine, Hippocrates, what did he say is the healer of diseases? And we all believed it, and we all signed Hippocratical oaths. And the Bible says it. The sun. Oh, no, he tells you the sun gives you cancer. The sun is the healer. You need to get it every day. When you get sun, you have what is known as the VDRs of the body, the vitamin D receptor sites. These receptor sites need to be negatively charged if you want to absorb positive foods. And if you don't get the sun, you better take a vitamin D. And as we said in the beginning of the show, don't listen to the USRDAs. They are ludicrously low. They say 400 in vitamin D. You need more. You need much more. So try and get a little bit of sun every day in your body. Put minerals into the water. And if you don't know how to do these things, folks, I will give you the advice absolutely free. You can phone my offices. My number will appear at the end of the show. And we will give you free advice, and sometimes free booklets and sometimes free tapes. We don't always have them. And you can find out and learn for yourself. You can regress your diseases yourself. My name's Basil Gold. I hope you listened very carefully today. God bless. Take care of your health in a natural way. Please, it's your life and that of your family and your children. It's not mine. Take care. See you next week. Bye-bye now.